free any other day, man.
Cool. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Q&A session. So we will have Chris Palmer joining us in just a few moments. He is stuck in a traffic jam, but we will be doing questions and answers. So do make sure that you do get your questions and answers in. But before I do go into anything else, do check out ODYS up here. It is the last day that you've got the chance to grab that £500 or $500 bonus for age domains. So make sure that you do take your opportunity. If you're interested in launching a new project, try and grab that $500 and take full advantage while you can, because after tonight, that's it, done and dusted until the next time, if there is a next time for such a deal. So yeah, check it out. Also good to see Gary Farmer here. Not so good at FIFA, not as good as he claims. And Paul Hogden, good to see you here, Paul. Sent you an email earlier with what you were looking for. Hopefully that is enough that I've sent over. But yeah, so today we're doing the usual question and answer sessions. You ask whatever you want and get those questions answered. And as I say, Chris Palmer will be with us in about 3 or 4 minutes time. So yeah, he's stuck in a traffic jam. He's probably going to come in all stressed out, and yeah, it's never good running late for a webinar and stuff like that. But yeah, it's properly stresses me out. But he will be here in a few moments. But in the meantime, let us know who's here, where you're from. Make sure you do give us a thumbs up and get your questions asked first and foremost, whether that's something very basic or something more advanced. We are here to help you understand SEO better. So there's no such thing as a silly question. So don't be shy. And no problem, Paul. Glad you finally got them. I was busy today, so only was able to send them about an hour ago. So apologies for that. But yeah, today was the busiest day of my week. I've got a relatively easy week this week, but today just everything's rammed in, which is a pain, but sometimes it gets all of these kind of things over and done with in one day. But yeah, I've even got a hospital appointment at 6:50 p.m. tonight to get my ear checked. Got a bit of a blockage in my ear that's been annoying me for about a year now. Don't know if it's a congestion thing or a middle ear problem, but I've got the hospital for that after this. Going to see a surgeon and see what he can do to resolve it. Good morning, Mr. Mullins from sunny San Francisco. Guys, you are slow off the mark with your questions, so make sure that you do ask any questions in the chat or wait till Chris comes, but it would get boring at that point. So make sure your questions are coming in so we can get them answered. But as I say, Chris will be here joining us in a few moments. But, Craig Mullins is getting his COVID vaccine today. So if I don't show up anymore, I'm dead. I'm sure it's not that bad, Craig. Although I've heard people having weird after effects and stuff, but I'm sure you'll be all right, man. And a good job that you're getting it. And you must be higher up. They're only doing the 60-year-olds and stuff over in the UK just now, 50 or 60. So, yeah. But here we do have Mr. Palmer as well. Fresh from it. Look, you can see his cheeks are rosy, stressed out.
Cold out there.
Stressed out from being stuck or whatever it was you were doing. But first question today, Chris, I was just doing the usual introduction, saying hello to people, explaining that you would be here in a few moments. But now we've got Chris here, we can start off with the first question from Travis Phillips. If you're making a Google entity stack, what role does the free site on GMB play? How important is it?
Massively important. It's it is the quintessential element of the stack. You know, it's the layer in which that we're going to showcase to the world from anchor text, and multiples of those. The stack element, in my humble opinion, is there to buffer out junk. That's like your tier 2. Tier 1 is the G site going to the money site. So it's key ingredient.
Key ingredient, indeed. Rafael Santos, the guy with the best name. I love that name. I don't know why. I just love it. Just sounds like a really cool name. Good to see you here. But yeah, the guys today are slow off the mark with their questions. So guys, get the questions coming thick and fast. We want to do quick fire, tons of questions out there. But out of curiosity, Chris, your thing that you're bringing out, has that come out yet? I've not seen anything yet.
Yeah. So I have I don't know. I'm sure you've built tools, right? So I have the demo and I've used it. But as far as taking it to a scale or to a level of being able to offer it to more than myself or one other person is a whole nother level. So before I don't want to give anybody too good of an idea, right? So, you know, I'm just taking it easy until I'm ready to go right to the marketplace.
Yeah.
You know,
I was just curious because I know you said last week it'll be out this week, but it's still not out, and it's bloody teasing me. Why do guys that always make tools do this stuff?
Done.
Deliberately teasing and teasing and teasing. You're like, fucking give me it.
I mean, we could use it. I can use it. You could use it. You know, but as far as, you know, opening it up to people, it has to be done. So, you know, I talked to the developers. You know, they say 2 weeks. I say 3. Then, you know, so
better being safe than sorry, especially where developers are concerned. Because
there's a couple of issues. You got to create your own API. It's a little tough. I know why there's no other ones out there, right? Yeah.
Gary Farmer is saying, I was trying to download and plug in Yoast to my site today, but it says destination folder already exists. I can't find it. Is this a common problem? And is Yoast good and worth installing anyway?
You know, I'd skip it out on Yoast, but with that said, depending on what you're using, you know, going through Putty, you know, search for the file, or if maybe you have cPanel, maybe going through cPanel. I'm not sure what you're running, and then just look for it. You know, I'd look for the file folders if it's there. But again, I might steer clear away from Yoast, maybe lean more towards All-in-One or SEO Press or WPress or Project Supremacy or something. You know, go a little bit better, perhaps.
I'm not a Yoast user myself. Nothing wrong with the tool, by the way. But I've always just been an all-in-one SEO guy for many years and tend to stick to what I know, and I've never really had too many problems with that. So
amen to that.
I'm not a fan of that whole traffic light thing on Yoast. So
do you do that? Did you find that too, Craig? Like you'll get people that they want to work with you, and you're looking at your system and you're like, listen, if you want me to work with you, we gotta, like, you need these plugins, you need this theme, like you gotta set it up this way.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, like if you do something and you think your page is on point, but Yoast has got it all in orange, you know, that's kind of annoying. And then the customer's potentially saying, look, why is it orange? You know, could it be better? Why are you not doing this? And you're like, please fuck off, Yoast. So I take Yoast out the equation because it also irritates my OCD or whatever the hell it is that I've got. That, you know, if I can't get it green, that just nips away when I'm sleeping at night. I'm just like, man, how can I get that green? So yeah, it's just not good from that point of view. It probably helps other people in a lot of ways, but yeah. But to answer Gary Farmer's question, an SEO plugin is an SEO plugin. There are alternative options out there, some which I would consider better personally, and you know, just use something else. Don't be hung up on using Yoast if it's causing a problem like that. Travis Phillips again. If you make a G stack, should you only use the same Gmail your GMB is set up on, or is it okay to use a different account or even multiple accounts?
So yes to all of them. Generally, you'll create it within another Gmail than your main. But sometimes if it's for a client and you're in the beginning stages, foundational stages, I might connect it right into their main. It really depends on the current situation, but generally you want to create a new account and plus add more. So there's your answer.
Craig Mullins, fresh from the COVID jag, is saying he's also been having issues with Yoast in the past couple of weeks. So you might not be in your own there, Gary Farmer. There might actually be it's Yoast's fault, the problem you've got. So let's just assume it is. Fuck you, Yoast. Nah, I'm kidding. Really kidding. Paul Baker, hi, are mini sites still good networking to your main website? Thanks.
100%. Topical, yes. Mini nets. I still utilize them when if there's budget involved. Absolutely, sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
There's no reason why you wouldn't. Do it if there's budget available. Ahsan Beg, hopefully I said that right. Do you create GSA links on tier 2 on Web 2.0s or create them tier 3 level?
So if I'm utilizing GSA, then it is a tier 3 going to a tier 2. Sometimes depending on the lists, depending on the list where I acquire it, like if I'm going to get a Fiverr list, right, for a $5 list and then skimming through, that's going to be a tier 3. Now, if I go get an AA list from a quality source or a vendor where I know these are going to be hitters, that'll be it. I'll send that right into the tier 2 or hit a tier 1 depending on the asset.
Cool. Matthew Moss, with a multi-location business with multiple GMBs, if service areas overlap slightly, do we add that area in both GMBs or choose one?
So for me, at least lately, I'm really just looking for, like, I already know it's let's just say 10 miles. So for me, my business, I'm not going to overlap them. It's going to be separated, and generally at all costs, I'm trying to get a pin on the board. And then with the categories, what I'm finding too is just as an add-on, I've been limiting it to just 2. So sometimes only 1. I'm seeing much better results by this is my primary. This is what I do. It's hopefully that helps you.
I'm sure you have good words always. Gary Farmer saying cheers. Paul Hogden's telling Gary to check out the WP content plugins folder. And Paul Hogden prefers rank math. Insight before action. SEO plugins are good as a guide, but common sense and experience trump them every time, which is on point. So Gary Farmer.
Insight before action.
Yeah.
So I was from the camp of action, and then we'll catch up later.
Good as a guide, but POP blows on page out of the water. POP is good for on page.
I'm loving it. Absolutely. Just hit page 1 for a guy. Yeah, I like pop, man. I'm digging it.
Paul Hogden has a question. The guys, keep your questions coming thick and fast. We don't have a whole lot of questions today for some weird reason. Normally, we don't get through them all, but get your questions asked. Also, give us a like on the video as well. Make sure that those guys that stick the big thumbs down on get well and truly beaten. But Paul Hogden has the question, what's the top thing to do to improve a GMB ranking, Chris, in your opinion?
If we're talking about showing up, right? And if
let me rephrase this. You've got a GMB, you've got a small business, and you can only use one tactic. What would you do that's going to push you there or closer to where you need to be?
Are we talking about within guidelines, or it doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter.
Well, if I have to start with step one, then it's getting the phrase into the name of the business. Now, if we're past the optimization of the asset, then I need to start generating clicks and traffic to the asset regarding where I want to be ranking. So there's a step. It takes a little bit. We got to get in there and optimize it first, give it our time, and then I need to start increasing the amount of engagement on the asset.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult to pick one thing because they complement each other.
That's exactly
that step-by-step process. So
waiting
is a hard question to answer. I just wanted to try and put you in the spot there to see if there was one top thing, if you could do it. But again, you could do, I don't know, send traffic to something that's not very well optimized and got no citations. And
it's a brand new business. I mean, it just hopped on the board like today. You're like, I can send all the traffic in the world, but I don't know.
Nah, not a great way of me trying to throw you under the bus there. That was poor on my part. But yeah, so we have insight before action. What's your experience on Google Stories? With it, do they improve traffic? I'm curious to know the answer to this as well, because it's not something I've played with.
Well, myself, for any assets that I control, 0. However, I've had clients that were authoritative enough to be able to get into those positions. So, and that's your key takeaway there. If depending on the niche and depending on your authoritativeness will determine if they're going to be effective. And it seems as though like you can't optimize towards it. It seems like, well, you can optimize towards it, but you have to be authoritative enough to even catch a position.
So, for example, let's use me as an example, Chris, right? So I'm a complete dummy when it comes to Google Stories. I have heard people talk about it. I've also heard YouTube Shorts. I've heard people talk about Instagram Reels and Facebook Stories and all this stuff. There's that many things that you can't capture them all. I can't, I find it quite difficult to find the time. But for a layman, in layman's terms, what could I do with Google Stories? What would I put on there? And would I have a chance of being able to get in there and get traffic?
I think you absolutely could if you pick up the authoritativeness. So in our industry, we have to go and see, okay, who's currently winning those spots? Search engine journals, search engine land. So what are they doing that you need to do? Are you posting on that consistent basis? You get what I mean? So if you wanted to get into that position, you would have to mirror the authority level of what they're doing. But I think for SEO, I think it would be hard for you to get in there. I do think it would be hard. If you're going for it, I think it'll be hard.
I can't be bothered trying to get involved in wee things like that. It's hard enough trying to free up the time to do YouTube, never mind all of this other stuff. So it's madness. But I'm assuming a short or Google Story is a video of some kind.
Well, no, I've seen all different. Well, when I'm on, so maybe I'm thinking of stories completely different than what these guys are asking. Because say I'm on mobile and those first couple of blocks, like when I do a search for a particular search phrase that says, it'll say like stories. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily have to be a video. It could just be the article. It could just be, they just pull it out and it'll be like the first feed. I mean, it's a valuable position to have, obviously. Yeah. Like as soon as you log on, it's there. Speaking of that, though, doesn't that make you sick? I look up top 10 SEOs and I'll see non-SEOs ranking those positions based on writing blog content around what somebody tweets out.
Yeah.
What?
I know.
It blows my mind. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm about to start just writing blog articles on whatever Mueller says. Screw it.
Listen, people are desperate for content ideas and stuff like that. Why not regurgitate some of that stuff? I seen one yesterday that went out on, I think it was Search Engine Journal, the top 202 SEOs to follow or something, and it's a whole bunch of people. But you know,
No, I never heard of.
twist that, show that list, put it on your blog, and add a few paragraphs before and after, and mix it all up, and boom, you know, you'll probably get a decent ranking for.
So who came out with that? Search Engine Journal?
I'm pretty sure it was Search Engine Journal.
Did you hit it? Did you make the list?
I'm in the list, yeah.
Yeah, of course you did.
But,
Bugger.
listen, I'm not always in those lists, and I'm not a fan of those lists either. You know, you look at those lists and you're just like, man, there's some people on here that that has stopped doing SEO like 5 years ago. Like, why are they still on these lists? And
Like cuts in them. Like,
yeah, and you're just like, man, this is just ego bait at its best. Like, come on up with something different now. Like, I'm just sick of seeing certain guys' faces who you know are no longer doing a great job in the world of SEO. They've moved on to other things, or you know, they're probably retired with the amount of money they've made or whatever. And no disrespect to them, but yeah, and you see others and you're just like, man, why is that person there and not me? So I try and ignore those lists. It's nice, obviously, as a compliment to see people maybe mention you there, but I'm not sure. You might be on that list as well, Chris. I can't remember.
really?
Yeah, you might be. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I'm pretty sure you might be.
What? Oh man, dude, I might, dude, dude, I'll lose it. Really?
I'm not.
Dude. Don't do that to me.
In fact, let me have a look right now, actually, because.
I can't wait to show little Chris.
Search. I don't build your hopes up though. Search engine.
Oh, I'm on it already. I'm looking.
Oh, you on it already?
Yeah. I don't see me.
You see yourself. I'm pretty sure you are. There's a lot of people on there though. Ashton, good to see you here as well. Insight Before Action is going to respin that SEO list and awesome. Substitute myself for Craig. Do it, man. Listen, you've got to do what you've got to do. Insight Before Action also said he's heard that Google Stories feeds into people also ask. So yeah. No,
I didn't make the list.
Did you not make it?
But you are though.
You never scroll through 202 people.
Well, I just searched. I went to Control F and searched for
yeah. I thought you were on there, man, to be honest. You've been on a few lists, though.
I've been on a couple. Well, if you're on there and they come looking for you, they'll find me, so I'm happy.
Yeah. So, yeah, piggybacking on is what you want to do.
Yes.
Why not? Somebody's got to. Matthew Moss is saying, are people manipulating GMB directions? And if so, what's the best practice? I think it's safe to say that Polly is manipulating GMB directions somewhat with her 200 phones. And Chris, Paul Hogden said that you're 203rd on that list.
Interesting. There's no 203 though, right?
Exactly. But are people manipulating GMB directions in your opinion? And what's the best way to do it?
Well, to answer your question, if there's something to manipulate, it's being manipulated. Do I think that creating these assets and having them on your, say, Web2s or other properties that you control,
Jordan?
Do I think that it's being done? Sure. I've even messed around with this quite a bit. I can't say for sure if it's going to be a massive driver, like as if having multiple GMBs that are verified, right?
Yeah.
It's like apples and oranges. You know, it's not like sending traffic from Facebook or something like this. So can it be done? Sure. But it definitely, I've seen it. I've done it. I've played with it. I don't think that it's a massive driver.
But Holly Starts is your best person to ask that question to, because she's playing around a lot with that stuff, and she'll be able to give you an indicator as to how much benefit that actually has, if any. So that is your person to ask that particular question to. Rafael Santos, do you see expired domains as powerful as some time ago? What's your opinion, Chris?
A domain's a domain. I mean, if it wasn't dropped, I 100%. You know, I absolutely. I do. I think if I have a domain that's getting traffic and I get it from their name to my name, is it going to be a benefit?
But expired, so it drops and gets reset.
If I see, I try not to buy those. I'm looking for. There still needs to be traffic. I'm looking for aged domains, right? Yeah.
So there's a difference between aged and expired domain names, and obviously dropped domains, in my opinion, do lose power. 100%. I would much rather use a non-dropped. Get it from an auction, reach out to a guy and say, listen, do you selling this or whatever? I'd much rather use something with that history and traffic, as Chris says, and everything else, rather than something that clearly Google can see has dropped and maybe going to pass less value to it. So aged domains over drop domains is definitely what I would want to be using if I'm trying to get a head start. But I'm pretty sure expired domains, pack some kind of punch, but I'd lean more towards something on an auction, if I'm being honest, personally. So that's just my 2 pennies worth. But yeah, I've used expired domains in the past and still use them now and again. But are they as effective as they once were? I don't believe so, is the answer.
And to add on too, because I'll make videos, I think Craig has too, and it'll say, how to find expired domains. Really, and if you watch these videos, we're looking for domains that have traffic, right? It's because dropped domains doesn't have volume like expired. So if you're wondering, hey, but I saw you made a video. Yeah, but I was looking for domains that had traffic.
Clever playing words is what you're doing. CBD Flowers UK new Twitter newsletter is ranking well. Any experience with this?
Unfortunately not. I'm sorry.
I don't even know what a Twitter newsletter is, to be honest. I'm going to be honest. Let us know what a Twitter newsletter is. We might call it something else, or we may just not utilize that. To be honest, I don't even like Twitter, full stop. It's the least... I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say I'm not active on it, but it's the one that I use the least and interact with people on the least in terms of social media. So I'm not a Twitter.
It's the easiest. It is easy, though.
It's easy, but
zero thought.
It's just shit. I don't get traction from it. I just don't like it. So, so there you go. Travis Phillips again. What's your guys' opinion on how many outgoing links should be on a press release? What are your essentials other than the page you want to rank?
Generally, I do 3 outbound. It depends on the client. It depends on what asset we're going for. But generally, it's going to be 2 going to 1 to the homepage, 1 to the page I'm trying to rank. And then locally, it's probably going to have an embed, which I would count as a link going to the map, the CID, something along those lines. So it's going to be a map asset or a GMB asset, and then 2 pages on the website, because I know I can double definitely the homepage and then the page I'm trying to rank. That's what I do.
Interesting.
Froze.
Yeah, I'm back.
You do it differently?
What?
Do you do it differently?
I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head. Try and link out. Obviously, if you've got the option from a press release to get 2 or 3 links in there, there's get the one for the page you're trying to rank. But if you've got other assets, as you say, whether it be a map, a video, whatever, then of course I'm going to make sure that I take advantage of that. And how I do that is what's the most important thing to me, in terms of driving people from that press release to whether it be my YouTube, my social media. And obviously the main thing is always the website. You're wanting to link just the SEO value and stuff like that. But if there's 1 or 2 other options, then I'll be making sure that, for me, YouTube's where I want to try and send a lot of people to. So, for me, I would be having a YouTube link on there. So you've got to think about it that way. But if you've got a GMB or, a second website or, whatever, I don't know, power up your assets with it where you've got the opportunity is the best way to look at it. So Jordan Pierce is here. Jordan is the guy that asked the GMB question in terms of the directions thing. Jordan is a bit of a whiz on the old GMB stuff. So Jordan, can you enlighten us if you feel that the directions thing is something that is worth manipulating and if it has any value? Because I'm pretty sure Jordan has probably played around with that stuff as well, because he's done a lot of GMB stuff. So we'll see if Jordan can come back with any kind of input on that direction thing. Paul Baker, what do you think is going to happen to SEO when AR, VR start to control the market?
What's AR? And how? And I mean,
I don't know, actually.
Yeah, VR maybe I can understand, but AR I'm not sure. And I don't know. You always have to follow the dollar, though, right? So if Google can monetize, then that means we can too, because they're still going to need us, right? Not us, the SEO, but I mean business owners, people who have sites, people that are selling products. Because what's the use of using the toll booth if there's nowhere to go, right? So whatever happens, as long as Google can make money, then there's an opening for us, right? So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what's going to happen when all of this stuff kicks in, but if it's going to kick in, people were saying in 2015 that by 2020 SEO is going to die and all of this stuff. And we're 2021 and still the same old stuff. So I'm not sure how close we are for things like that to be controlling the market. I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen in the next few years, as far as I'm concerned. But you've got to adapt. SEO back the way it worked in 2005 to the way it does just now is not the same game. You've got to adapt, embrace new technology, embrace GMBs and all of that kind of other stuff. And that is just evolving, and that's how life works. So
that's right.
I think we'll adapt, but how quickly it adapts, I have no idea. But I'll look forward to seeing what goes on. Ashton Lobo, in case there are sites using PBNs on tier 2, how can you detect it other than checking each link manually? Was not something about Majestic SEO bringing out something that could kind of piece that together for you? I didn't actually get round to checking it, but I'm pretty sure Majestic claimed that they could kind of see that, but I'm not sure if you played around with that, Chris, or not.
Yeah, well, I was gonna I would say utilize a tool, but these lesser known tools that maybe aren't being seen as much. But it's interesting that you said that Majestic, so I'm gonna have to check that out. I don't know. I didn't hear about that.
And so apparently Majestic, you can start to see your kind of tiered link building structure as well. So I'm not sure how accurate it is, though. It's just another one of those things you hear and you say you're going to look at it and then you forget about it. Something else comes up. But it's worth having a look at Majestic for that, Ashton. But, with anything, with a tool, you're probably going to need that manual element if you want to reverse engineer properly. So don't expect the tool to do it properly 100%. Certainly not at that level. Majestic might be able to do a reasonable job at it just now, but are they going to miss certain bits? Of course they are. Data is a massive problem for a lot of these tools. And the Majestic bot and everything can be blocked from a lot of assets and stuff. So you're probably still not going to see everything.
Tiered visualizer. Interesting.
Yeah.
I was just looking like.
But yeah, that came a few months ago, but I just didn't follow it through and check it out. But it's something I need to check out because it could be quite interesting if it's anywhere even close to being accurate. So yeah, I'll probably check that out later. Actually, I'm going to take a note.
I always like to check with Majestics what they think of TF for a page. Don't you? I always like to.
I used to massively do it, but over recent years, I got rid of Majestic because more and more people were just focusing on DR. I was always a massive fan of the trust flow and citation flow, topical relevance and all that stuff. But just with more people that you have conversations with, if you're trying to, negotiate for links or talk to people about links, it was always just DR. And I'm just like,
yeah, I tested that out recently, actually, in a video with the photos. Instead of using DA, I've used TF, I used DA, and then I used DR, and the DR got the most hits.
Yeah.
Interesting.
For me, I mean, it depends. I think a lot of people towards the Asia side of the world tend to use DA. I think here in the UK in particular, we use DR. I think you guys in the US use a mixture of DA and DR, and then just throw in the
DRTF seems to be the lingo, right? Depending on who you're talking to.
But there you go. But yeah, check that out, Ashton. Hopefully that helps you. Insight before action. From experience, best way to sell a course on your own website or through the marketplace like Udemy, Khan Academy, or a hybrid arrangement, which delivers the best in terms of sales. So I think you need to, there's a couple of different options you've got here, insight before action. Now, there's nothing at all wrong with selling it on a marketplace like Udemy and everything else, but they obviously take a cut. Now, are you going to get the traction you want for the cut that they're taking? I'm not so sure. So you can use things like Podia, Thinkific, and whatever, using your own platform, and the money that you would be paying to Udemy, for example, you could pay to someone else who's a bigger and better following than you with a proper mailing list and use them and cut them in on the affiliate fee is the best way to do it. In my opinion, a lot of guys will do that route and try and leverage someone else's influence or following or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, that's just the way I would do it personally. But Chris, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, the first thing is if you think that the course is as lucrative as you think it is, it's not. The second thing is leveraging other people's platforms is almost a must, but factor that into your cost. And the third thing is I heard Charles speaking of a platform, and when I went looking, I might, if I was going to go utilize a platform, I think I'd go that angle, because I know Udemy, this is kind of rough. These ThinkFix and Podias and stuff, you have to have your own audience. So if I was going to try to leverage an audience that's already there looking for trainings, I forget the name of that one that he was using, but that's
Gumroad.
Yeah, Gumroad. If I was gonna, I think the lower ticket stuff, I think I'm gonna push it that way, and then the stuff that's more private, I'm gonna do myself. I think that might be a good way. But if you're trying to do it for it's not. I don't know. It's not what you think it's gonna be, man.
Yeah. Travis, thank you for your questions. Jordan has answered on the driving directions thing. He says he doesn't think the driving directions are the be all and end all, but it's a signal of engagement which is looked at. So, but GMB, CTR and engagement, call, review, looking at photos, all of that kind of stuff is going to give you that engagement, and obviously that is important. So probably don't focus too much on the driving directions, and probably mix it all up is probably your best bet here.
You know what else I noticed too, as an engagement signal? User uploaded images, not sitting total amount, but consistent uploading from users.
Yeah.
I think that's beneficial. I mean, I'm looking more into that, but it seems to be a winner.
When you say users, do you mean like people who have Google Guide accounts, who've got trustworthy aged accounts? Surely we can't just go out and set up loads of fake personas and
I mean, you can, but they have to be aged. Now, it doesn't have to be local guide, because only a certain percentage of people have the guides. But actual accounts that are uploading, like that would be customers.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you put in a water heater, there's 8 images of a water heater that are being put in from the customer, and then another customer the next day, and then another one and another one. And then it just seems like, if it's not temporary, I'm not sure yet, it seems like a boost. I don't know why. It's interesting though.
Jordan Pierce is saying, thank you, Chris. Finally, someone says it.
What's that?
Reviews with photo. So
100.
try it out, people. See what's going on. Guys, make sure you keep the questions coming, but also make sure you do give us a little like on the channel or on the video. That would also be appreciated. But Dan Jones, new office looking good. Craig, this is actually my old office. Well, I've had it for 5 years, but I don't often work in the office due to the COVID situation, but this is my normal background that I had. If you check the old SEMrush webinars and stuff I used to do, you'll probably see that background and recognize it from there. But yeah, I'm in the office today.
Is that on site where you're like in the same quarters as your home, or separated?
No, separate. It's not far from home. It's like 5-10 minute drive. But yeah, this is just a warehouse that I've got converted into. I've got this little office here, which is very untidy. So the staff normally sit in behind that glass door. I've got a big area out there, which is a gym. Then I've got a training room. And obviously we used to do training here. I've got a big screen behind me built into that wall. But it's a nice, cozy little office, and hopefully get back in here more often.
I used to think working in buy a property that's large enough to have the office asset right there, it would be beneficial. But I've done it twice now, and the more I'm starting to think, maybe I should have an office that's kind of close.
Yeah, something to just get out of the house and just see it's a different place to go. It's good. And obviously I came here, you can get the head down, just beast out your videos. There's no kids, no nothing, no one chap in the door, no Amazon deliveries, nothing. It's just so yeah, it's I like the mixture of both. I don't think I'll ever be full time in the office again, but certainly a few days a week I need to escape the wife. That's all I'm going to say on that. But Hamid is asking, what is the best SEO plugin for WordPress? So we did confirm that earlier, Hamid. Our opinion is all-in-one SEO. But Chris, what are the other ones?
I think there's a lineup, right? I think like a mixture, like whatever theme you like. So let's just say, let's start at the beginning, like Oxygen Builder with WP Rocket, with Flying Pages perhaps, and WP Press. Sounds like a good mix, I think that you could really rock out with that if you're doing WordPress.
Yeah. Interesting. Mark Rose, how much would you price a complete SEO course? That is the $1 million question.
That's a subjective. Price does not equate quality.
Yeah, but let me give you a few ideas or experiences that I've got, Mark. So I went to Brighton SEO. I paid them to rent out what do you call it, like a table and all that, like a exhibition stand, and I was trying to sell courses there, and I priced them round about, I think it was £500, Mark. Too expensive. The people at that conference didn't have £500. It was young members of staff in agencies who were the audience. After that, we didn't make any sales at all at Brighton. Absolutely none at all. We had a lot of people interested. A lot of people signed up for the newsletter. Never sold a single thing. Now, a few weeks later, it was Black Friday, and I literally said that I'm going to put these out at $79, and I sold 40 grand worth on Black Friday 1 year. I was literally falling off my chair, refreshing. I couldn't believe it. So it really depends on your audience and what they're prepared to pay or where you're going to promote that. Now, obviously getting more money and trying to make it seem quality and all that kind of stuff is good, but how many people have $500 or $1,000 to buy in? So if you want volume, that's not the best job. So it depends on the type of person you want in on that course. If it's run-of-the-mill people and you're trying to build a brand and all that kind of stuff, I gave a full SEO course away for free, and I got 50,000 signups. 90% of those people didn't actually complete the course. And I do believe that people don't take free things seriously. So I think you have to charge a weird price where people feel like they have to do the course or they've lost their money. So it's a very, very hard one, but that's a few different scenarios I put myself in there. And it's up to you to come up with the best price, but there's no point in overpricing it and everyone going, look at this, Robin, it's far too expensive. So Chris, what's your thoughts on pricing?
I have a lot of thoughts on pricing. Under $300 is a winner usually.
You think that's a winner under $300?
I think under $300 is your number. If you want to, if you go too low, people think it's junk, right? Yeah. If you go too high, then you lose out on sales. You got to get right there in the middle. I don't know. And then too, if they think it's low, then they think they're only getting like 2 or 3 videos. So if you can get it low and then pump out a bunch of content, and then they're like, oh, wow, that's awesome. That's the way to go.
Yeah. I think there's just a balance to be had there. I definitely went in wrong doing it at $500 at the Brighton SEO event. I think I massively booped there. So it's got to be affordable for people. And it's just, people don't value cheap crap. That was the point I was trying to make, like free or cheap. Right. People just associate it with garbage. So yeah, it's just got to be enough to make that person say, I'm not fucking letting Chris Palmer have £300 of my money without digging deep into his videos. I want my money's worth. Yeah. So that's the way you have to look at it, man. And hopefully that helps you, Mark. Stephen Shapiro, hello, man. Like button clicked. Appreciate online courses is like a minefield. It is an absolute minefield. So is the new thing a tool or group, Chris? He's not wanting to share it just yet, but I'll confirm it's not a group.
Yeah, it's not a group.
So
I have a tool, a platform, I should say. A platform
or tool that does something which I am super excited about it. And I'm not just saying that because it's Chris. It's something that I think is a good thing for everyone to be able to play with and use it as they see fit. So that's all I can say. I don't obviously want to steal the limelight from Chris. He will tell you in his own good time, but not until it's ready. But I'm pretty sure most of the audience here will find value in it for sure. You need to be a douchebag not to. But for that little bit of knowledge, guys, make sure you give us a bit more likes on here. Deepak Dulal. So insight before action. Both you guys are mega busy, but what methods or software do you use to organize yourself and clients?
ClickUp, SE ranking, SEMrush. I think on some accounts I have SERPWoo, I think it's called. But ClickUp is more for me, just to keep everything in order, really, I guess, because it was cheap for a minute there. It was free too. But that's it. That's all I use.
So obviously in terms of organizing clients and stuff, SEMrush, or whatever you want to do in terms of reporting to clients, you're probably going to use Google Data Studio and you're going to use APIs that pull whatever you want to report on. So just get that automated. Make sure that the client side is easy to manage the automation of that. In terms of me personally, I use a little Chrome extension, and it's also a thing called followup.cc. Now, what that allows me to do is check who emails me. It also gives me reminders. It also allows me to schedule an email. So if I'm sitting on a Sunday board and I want to message a guy on Monday, I can schedule my emails to go out, and it can also do a follow-up sequence, and it can also do things like that. I use Calendly to book consultation appointments or podcasts or a whole bunch of other stuff that I do. So I'll just say to someone, if you want to be here, or you want to talk to me or whatever it is, here's Calendly, it books them, gives them a Zoom link, blah, 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 blah. I think in terms of managing your diary and your appointments and not forgetting things and all that kind of stuff is massively important, because I get shot from Skype, WhatsApp, text message, Facebook, Instagram, all of these different platforms, and obviously arranging talks with guys and doing all that kind of stuff, super messy. So it's all done through Calendly and just trying to keep some kind of structure and organization to my day. And I just block out the times that I don't want to talk to people to be able to do what I need to do to run my businesses. So that's a couple of wee things there, but there's so many different things, softwares. I use social media scheduling software. I've got a whole bunch of stuff that does stuff for different things, but it also depends on your team. Like a lot of people say to me, Craig, how do you get the time to do all these videos? Now, I probably spend 2 hours a week doing lives, one with Chris, one with Mike and Brad. I do podcasts, which maybe takes me another hour or two, but I then give them to a video editor who does that and uploads them and all that stuff. So I only probably spend about 7 hours, 8 hours a week doing video content. The rest of it's automated or someone else is doing it, because I've obviously then got to run my business. I've got to do SEO. I've got to do the things that I love, testing things out and all that. So time management is super important. I think that's something you need to get a massive grip on. Delegation and time management will allow you to free up the time to do what you do that.
Delegation.
Yes.
That's a key word right there.
Exactly.
That's hard to do too. That's hard to let go. Sometimes depends on your person, I guess.
So, Live RIL fan is saying, thoughts on YouTube removing dislikes. Have they actually removed that already? Because I'm pretty sure that I got a dislike on a video yesterday. I always get one dislike, and that's why I'm always like, guys, like us, because there's always some douchebag disliking. So, did you know that was gone?
I mean, you can, I know that you can turn it off, but I didn't know that it was, I'm pretty sure that it's still there.
Yeah, it's definitely still there. It's certainly where I am in the UK, but maybe you can switch it off, but would you want to switch it off? Probably.
No, I like it as a gauge for me.
Yeah.
I like to know what are people feeling, what aren't they? And then if it's really bad, it just disappears.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen often, though, does it?
You'd be surprised. I make videos disappear all the time.
What do you do, right? So here's a question. When you have a video that you don't like or don't think went that well, are you just unlisting it, or do you just remove it altogether?
I just delete it.
Just delete it.
Just forget about it. Gone.
So even though it got lots of views and all that, you're still deleting it and losing all that data?
I don't care. No, it's irrelevant to me. It needs to be wiped. It's wiped off the slate to me.
Cool.
It doesn't matter to me. That's me. If you go look at my social blade, you'll see drops all the time. I know they say whoever they is like that, you're not supposed to do that, but what I notice, if you go look at accounts that do that consistently, pruning, Chase primarily is where I was watching it. Other accounts, I noticed every time they did a drop, when they came back stronger with impressions.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm just going to go pruning.
Yeah. Pruning is always a good thing, whether it's videos or getting rid of people on Facebook or whatever. I'm pruning daily just now on Facebook, to be fair. But anyway, Perpetual Con, I read one of your articles, a review in Money Robot. I tried using it for myself, and I found that they run their own PBN networks, and I don't think it is any good to create tier 1 links. Please enlighten him. So what's your thoughts on Money Robot, Chris? Would you use it as a tier 1, or would it be further down the pecking order?
It's not something that I utilize currently. I don't use it. I don't know where you would place that.
Let me just be very, very clear to anyone who doesn't understand what these softwares do. link building automation will be using either a network of websites, Web 2.0s, or something else. Do not think it's building good quality, white hat guest posts for you. That is not what these tools are doing. So you can use it to power up a guest post. You can use it for a number of other reasons, but you need to be careful in terms of what you use them for. So I just want to be very clear. There's a place for these things in the world, but using them at the right time, at the right place is the most important thing. Do not think these are anything other than what they are. That's it. It's automated. It's junk. Easy to get. Do they pass power? Of course they do, but nothing more, nothing less. They are what they are, and that's it. So do not be confused that this is anything better than what it is.
Yeah, that's not your. If you're allocating budget towards link building, buying the tool, and don't consider that your. That's not going to be it, dude. I think he knows that, but
yeah,
just in case.
Yeah, you got people. I don't want to pay like $100 a guest post. I can just buy Money Robot for $69 and fucking
we're done.
3 links. Yeah.
I'm an agency.
But Nature Videos, does Ahrefs rank indicator tell anything about citation flow and trust flow of Majestic?
Separate metrics.
Yeah.
Just 2 separate metrics.
Yeah. Mark Rose is saying he uses Trello, which is another great tool if you're working with whoever and get the Trello boards going. Vincent Hoorman, how do I control my site links that show up when searching the brand?
Your site links. Well, that's within your schema. Within your schema and setting the order, setting the order in your main menu, and then within the schema. That's all I've ever done in it. If there's a better trick, let me know. That's what I've always done.
I have site links when you search for my brand, and I don't have schema on a lot of those pages. I'm just going to guess that Google can also see what pages are getting the most traffic and are deemed the most important to your website, and they can pull through that way as well. So, and they're not necessarily the pages that I want to be site link extensions. I think one of them is my contact form, and so, which isn't a bad thing. But yeah, schema is probably the best.
Those are in your top level menu, right?
Yeah,
the ones they're showing.
Yeah,
and then you're probably listing those within your some type of schema, right? I'm sure doubling core, perhaps.
God knows. I don't even know.
I'm just curious. I don't know. I always thought it was a double whammy. Like, okay, it's listed here, and then it's within my order. Like I'm listing this as my structure, like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh no. So before I had these site links before I even had any type of schema on my website at all. The only schema I've got on my website's on my About Me page, and there's a couple of other pages, but I've not got a great amount of schema. So they've just came naturally, these site links through whatever reason. It's not something I would have aimed to try and get, but yeah, schema though is your best way to do it. Is all I'm going to say. Mark Slorence, evening bros. How long do you need to be in the game before you can stick SEO on the end of your name? I want to become Mark Slorence SEO, but I would like your blessing first.
I don't know, Mark. I don't know, buddy.
You need to rank at least one website first, Mark. So come back when you've fulfilled that obligation.
How about a page?
Yeah.
How about a page? Yeah.
But yeah, come back. There is a fee. just so that you can use that, because I've got it all trademarked and shit. So there is a fee. So if you just post some money through my letterbox next time you're passing.
Wait a minute. What do you mean rank a site? I hope he's ranked at least one site.
I'm only pulling his leg. I'm only pulling
Yeah. Okay.
It's Scottish humour. We just always bash each other and make out like no one can rank a website and stuff. So, Mark's been doing stuff for a while, and he's always a lurker in here. And I know personally that he has progressed very, very well in the past 6 months. So I'm pretty sure he's ranked more than the one website. So for anyone that took that in any other way, it was a joke. But Live RIL fan saying YouTube is officially removing dislikes from being viewed. You'll only be able to see it in analytics. They're already testing it. You can check on Twitter for confirmation. Not that I disbelieved you, by the way, but I just know that I'd got a dislike yesterday. I know you're quite knowledgeable about it and look at these things. And Made for Kids, I think, turns it off. Insight before action. Craig Campbell SEO, you have a stalker. I've got a fair few, actually, but they're normally guys. Like, I always thought when you become well known and all that stuff, I'd have some hot chick stalking me. But yeah,
SEO groupies.
Yeah, there's normally some 50-year-old bloke trying to chat me up to get as much information as they can out of me. Not quite what I wanted as a stalker growing up, but yeah, it's funny. But yeah, it is what it is. Hamid Faisal, hey guys, some help regarding GMB. How do I increase proximity, searches in maps? I've done all the basic optimizations. So what does someone do to increase proximity, Chris?
Get a location to where your searchers are.
Yes.
All day. If you want to go into a particular area and I want to increase the proximity of, hey, I'm getting all these searches and I want to rank here, the number one thing that your objective is to get a listing there. It's as easy as that. And then if I can't do that, then I need at least a corresponding page on the website and or supporting pages, right? Other websites that are talking about this location and getting traffic from that particular location. That's it. Number one, get the listing.
John Bowman, I don't seem to have another question from you. Can you just put it in quickly, and we'll try and get to that. Based on what Google, it's random based on what Google deems are important.
It is random.
Traffic, yeah. So it is, as I say, I've got some random ass pages that are there and not ones that I particularly wanted to be there, but it is what it is.
It is definitely a random thing.
Yeah.
You can try though.
Holly Starks, hello. Hi, Holly. How's the driving going, Holly?
I missed Holly yesterday. I was on baby duty.
I
had no choice. It was.
Any suggestion on how to learn advanced SEO?
Well, you're in a great place. I think it's always suck up all the free information first, and then make your investment in yourself. Not buying other courses or buying stuff, but buy a website and start implementing the stuff that you learned. You can catch all the fundamentals online and then just start trying it. Just start trying it. Or do like I did when I started. Go on Fiverr, put a listing up and start taking in people and just start trying on their shit stuff. No, don't do that. Don't do that. I did do that though for about 2 years. You know, I learned a lot.
Here is Gareth Dane just recreating a scenario I had the other day. Someone sent me this on Instagram and they said this recently. I see a lot of strange in SEO website promotion, and then put a question mark there. Like they sent that to my inbox and I'm like, what? Was there a question there? Like what? So yeah, that's Gareth's idea of sending a joke back my way. But yeah, you must get messages like that as well, Chris, where you're just like, what the fuck am I supposed to reply?
Well, I used to go through them. But then as it started becoming very recurring of just strange kind of stuff, I just put a message in there. Like, I don't read this. If you want to get in touch with me, call this number. And I just look for certain people, like, you know, people I talk to, people I know their names. I don't really.
People actually ring you up, but they're like, Chris, dude, like, talk about GMBs? Like people just phone you for.
Oh, I get random. Yeah, and if they catch me at the right time, I'll answer. Usually, I let it go and then I'll listen to the.
You can't be answering that bullshit, man.
Well, sometimes no, I get like phone calls random. Depending on what I'm doing, I might pick up. Hey, this is Chris. What's up? What do you need? It depends. Usually, I like to let it go, and then I like to listen to see what they're yakking about or nothing at all. But what I've been getting a lot lately is I need to check my car's insurance or the warranty is up. The warranty is up. I got about 50,000 of those. I love it.
Before we go, because we are like 6 minutes over, I want to just confirm, Chris, can you do local SEO live with Zanet?
Yes. I like Zane a lot. I think he's a great guy.
I
like his style. He's way different than me, which would be a cool little, yeah. I'd love to.
Craig Mullins is asking, does Chris ever check his filtered messages in Facebook?
Probably once a month.
I'm pretty sure Chris doesn't answer his fucking Facebook messages at all. The amount of guys that come to me saying, hey man, I've tried to speak to Chris, like, can you fucking give him a nudge? And I'm like, I'm not his fucking assistant, like. I said, like, he always answers me whenever I ask him. But, yeah.
Polly, Kyle Roof, it depends on who it is,
But Gary Farmer's saying, great show, guys, brilliant knowledge. Do you want your daily beating later? Yeah, I'll shoot you a message. I'm going to hospital after this. I need to get my ear checked. But yeah, I'll give you your daily beating. But one last question before we do shoot off. And Holly was also sorry she missed you, Chris.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But Hamid, Faisal, Google Stacks, Drive, are they still effective as they used to be? And I think we covered this at the start.
Yeah, I get this a lot. It's a hub. It's a hub and a filtration system. That's how I'm explaining it. I'm going to redo it for people because people wanted because that was my first forte at creating a training and it wasn't very good. So, but I'm going to redo it and then I'll hand it out for super cheap, which was funny because when that first started, I remember learning about that many, 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 many years ago. And it was like absurd amounts of money. And I was like, oh my God, I got to figure this out for myself. So I was like, oh, they're building it here. And I just started figuring it out.
Madness. Holly is saying she has a message from last week on there. I'm not sure if that's in your inbox, Chris, but I'm not sure. Daryl Ledyard, good to see you, man. Check out mass.page for Daryl Ledyard. He's been in my podcast as well if you've missed it.
And not just the mass page. He's got some sick stuff on there. Yeah.
I've just never get round to trying actually, Daryl, and I've actually got a message. I've emailed myself saying go and check it out. So I am going to get onto that very, very soon. Good luck with your test, live RIL fan. Let us know how it goes. And my ear is not getting irrigated, Mr. Mullins. I have had it irrigated time and time again, and it's still blocked. And now when I blow my nose, it pops out and then it goes back over. I think I've got a middle ear problem where there's congestion and stuff. So I took Sudafed. All this kind of gun started coming out. But yeah, I think I've got some kind of blockage in my left ear, which they may have to burst a little hole in my eardrum and or whatever. But I'm not sure. But it's really annoying. And so I'm going to see the surgeon tonight on it. I've had all that irrigation shit and hearing tests and all that garbage. But I'm going to see someone really to just say, fucking fix my ear, guy. Fix me, sort me out. Or they might just turn around and say, Craig, you're getting old. Just face it, and you're going deaf. But I think it's definitely a blockage. So,
jeez.
So there you go. But one last thing, Chris, because John Bowman, and this is the last thing, guys. I can't answer any more. But John Bowman asked, Chris, can you elaborate on how to do CTR with QR codes?
I mean, if you have a network of people that we can distribute these to other phones to create traffic to the listing, utilizing these QR codes, then it can be effective. You know, like say for a Holly, I'm sure that that's very effective. But just for a random, I mean, what are you going to do? Send out a mass blast to just random numbers? Send it out to your email list, maybe. I mean, so if you have a network or if you have a lot of people, it can be effective for driving traffic into the listing. So that's it.
Cool. I'm glad John finally got his answer. Sorry it didn't come through before, John. I'm not sure what happened. But we will see you guys again next week. And make sure you do check out ODYS. Get something stuck in my throat now. And check out ODYS. It's the last chance to get your $500 bonus today. So go and grab it while you can. You've got to spend it today as well to get that to use it against an age domain. So check it out, guys, and we will catch you all again same time next week.
Thank you.
Cheers.
See you guys, gals. Bye-bye.